gas prices are rising like a rocket. And if you travel by RV, you feel that price increase faster than most people do at the pump. So the question is, are rising fuel prices going to change the way you travel in 2026? I think that they probably will. Hi, I'm Chuck with Lake to Lake. And with March Madness just around the corner, I'm a huge fan of college basketball. And I root for my home team, the Kansas Jayhawks. Rock, chalk, go KU. All right, let's get on. One thing all RVers do is pay attention to the price of fuel, either gasoline or diesel. In my case, I have a diesel truck. One thing every RVer pays attention to, whether you're driving a motorhome or pulling a travel trailer, is the price of fuel. And lately, we've seen the price of diesel and gasoline rising sharply all across the country. Here's a real-world example. When I went to Quartzsite in January of this year, I drove 2,776 miles. I get about 9.2 miles a gallon on that trip. So that meant I purchased about 301 gallons of fuel. In the Kansas City area, it was $3 a gallon. So that's a total of $903 for my fuel expenses there and back. Today in Kansas City, it's $4.25 a gallon. So that would make my fuel costs at $1,279. So that's additional $376 round trip just in fuel costs. Not lodging, not campsite rental, not entertainment, not food, just fuel costs. So kind of my rule of thumb when I travel is if diesel costs $4.25 a gallon, I get approximately 10 miles a gallon. It kind of depends on which way I'm going and wind's blowing. But that would tell me that it's going to cost me about 42.5 cents per mile when I drive. Now that's just my way of estimating fuel prices when I'm going, if I go 100 miles, it's $4.25. Current diesel prices nationally, according to AAA, is $5.04. Last week, it was $4.78. Last month, it was $3.65. And a year ago, it was $3.59. That is $1.50 increase in the last year. That hurts. And I'll tell you what, if you have a long distance trip, like a East Coast to West Coast, or you have a 2 or 3, 4, 5,000 mile trip planned, you may have to rethink that because of the fuel costs. So why is this happening? Well, we all know on February 28th, the United States and Israel launched an attack against Iran. And basically, that shut down the Strait of Hormuz. No tanker traffic was passing through that strait. It's a very narrow strait. So no oil, no liquid petroleum products, which they supply about 20% of the world's fuel through that strait. Well, tankers aren't going through there because they don't want to get blown up. And until this eases, that's dry. There aren't ships coming through. So it's anybody's guess how high diesel or gas prices will go. Some analysts are predicting gasoline prices may hit $4.50 a gallon, and diesel may hit $6 a gallon. Ouch, that's going to hurt. Yeah, I just don't, so much of that long distance trip this year. One of the ways you can save a little bit of money is using Gas Buddy. Now, I use Gas Buddy locally, but I know the station is usually going to be the cheapest price for diesel fuel or gasoline. But when I'm traveling, I definitely use Gas Buddy. If I can save 40 cents a gallon by driving a quarter of a mile, why not? So I use it. I save a little bit of money. The other thing you can do, which I found out, and studies show this, if you slow down, instead of going 65 or 70, if you slow down to 60, you do get better gas mileage. And I can vouch for that in my truck. My diesel, I got a Ram 3500 or a diesel 1-ton truck. It does make a difference. 60 is much better fuel efficient. Takes a little longer, but time is money. But I don't know. In my case, I'm retired, so if I can save money on fuel, so be it. Okay, so let's see if we can find a little positive perspective in all this. The good news is fuel prices always have gone up and down. So they'll come back down in the near future. And you got to remember, RV has traveled the gasoline crisis of the 1970s, economic recessions, the swinging price of fuel prices high to low. It all kind of averages out, but it'll get down lower once this conflict in Iran eases. And besides, we love to travel in our RVs. We love to go places. So we're willing to pay a little bit of extra money to take our home with us and go out to a campsite, to go to a KOA, to go to a resort, go to a state park. We're willing to do that. We're willing to pay a little bit extra. So don't get discouraged about the high guys. Don't get discouraged about the high gas. Please don't get discouraged about the high gas prices. It'll give you something to talk about in the future. Around the campfire at night, where you can say, "I survived the high gas prices of 2026." So I'm curious: are you changing your plans your travel plans for this year in 2026? If so, put it down in the comments and let me know. Number two, we're looking at some new data that shows that the RV sales are slowing down. According to a report from Statistical Surveys Inc., the RV retail registrations in the United States dropped 14.5% in January of 2026 compared to 2025. Now that's a pretty significant decline, and it's affecting all major components and all major segments in the RV industry. So the data shows that towable RVs are down 14.4%, and motorized RVs are down roughly 15%. So let's break that down a little bit. Class Bs are down 11.8%. Travel trailers are down 12.84%. That's a little bit surprising there. Class Cs are down 13.23%. Fifth wheels are down over 18%. And Class As are down a whopping 24.34%. So much for all those RV shows, Tampa show and the Quartzsite show, bragging about all the RV dealers saying, "Oh, we had lots of traffic, we sold lots of units." It just didn't happen. It was all fluff. So this isn't showing that just one category in the RV industry is slowing down. Like it used to be, motorhomes were down, but everything else was kind of holding their own. The entire market is down now. So why are RV sales declining? Well, there's still several factors in play. Number one, they experienced a tremendous boom during the pandemic years, 2020 to 2022. And people wanted to buy an RV. They wanted to go camping. They did not want to get on airplanes. They did not want to stay in hotels because they're fearful of getting COVID. And RVs became extremely popular, and going out camping with the family became extremely popular. And you know what? Those people who went camping then, they're still going now because it's good family time. Dealers couldn't keep um, dealers dealers could not keep RVs on the lots. Manufacturers couldn't make enough RVs at the time, but now that demand has come back to reality. We don't have that surge like we did, and it's taken 2 or 3 years for the manufacturers and dealers to adjust. There's also some economic pressures affecting buyers. Number one is interest rates. Interest rates are higher than they were a few years ago, which makes financing an RV more expensive. Fuel prices are rapidly rising again. Again, that's an additional cost to go camping. And along with that, campground prices are also increasing. And even the state and local parks are going up. And you go back to the East Coast where you get more demand, you see dynamic pricing. We're seeing normal campsites going for up to $150. At that price, you're getting close to hotel prices, and is it worth it to get an RV and go spend $150 a night to camp in a place on the East Coast? I'm not going that way, so I don't know. All these things influence a buyer if they want to buy an RV. High interest rate, high fuel prices, and higher campsite prices. A cooling market isn't always bad news, especially if you're thinking about buying a new RV. When sales are down, dealers have to come up with a way to sell them. They're coming up with incentives to get you in the door and sell you an RV. All these can lead to discounts, incentives, and better buying options. You just got to negotiate. And I'm telling you what, when you go in there, buy what you want to buy. Don't buy what they're trying to sell you. Don't buy that extended service plan if you don't want it. Don't buy the extended warranty. Don't buy that if you don't want it. They'll sell it to you, but you got to negotiate. In fact, some industry analysts are now seeing RV prices adjusting to market conditions, which means they're lowering the price. And not only that, they're taking some of the bells and whistles off to get RVs in at a lower price and make them more appealing to consumers. So the big question is, what's next for the RV market? I just think we're seeing the RV market return to normal conditions. The manufacturers are building the units that that the dealers can sell, and there's not a glut. They're trying to not put a glut of 2026s on the sales floor. Consolidation of manufacturers and dealers. I think we're going to see some manufacturers and dealers go out of business. Hard times put financially weak manufacturers and dealers out of business. And some of the big boys, they're consolidating. They're saying, hey, why do we make 4 trailers exactly the same with a different name on them? You know, we may see that go from 4 to 2 or 4 to 1. They may only make one model. But as RV travel is still extremely popular and millions of people go RV camping every year, we're going to see it remain a popular recreational time for families. But the days of selling RVs at record high prices or above list prices, they're gone. You're not going to see that in the industry anymore. So as a consumer, you can get a lot better deal than I did, because I bought one during the pandemic and I paid too much. Guilty. So I'm curious, what do you think? Are you seeing the RV inventory at your local dealerships more or less? Personally, in the Kansas City area, I'm starting to see the inventory drop a little bit. I don't see a glut of as many RVs for sale on the lots as I did 2 years ago. Do you think it could be a good time to buy an RV? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more like this, please subscribe. And until I meet around the campfire, y'all take care now. Bye-bye. Go KU.